That's a big decision, but we wanted to let you guys know. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Renee and I here, and we have some big news to tell you guys about this year. We're here with the race car, and over the years, starting in going back to the beginning of RAD Industries, like 2014, 13, when we first started it, the whole goal was to find a way to be able to make it to Formula Drift and to get to Formula Drift. Maybe it's like me thinking more into it, but like we didn't really think like many years down, we're like, if we do this, we'll make it. And so we were just like
in the mode.
Like in the moment, like full speed ahead, laser focused on like the goal to make it to FD. Got the Pro 2 license in Pro-Am in 2014, and like as I was nearing getting the license, like if I had did my final round correctly, I would get, my license. So I'd already like bought this chassis and was like ready to build it, but waiting to take it apart until it was like a done deal.
I think I even started the brand based on the idea of being a team in Formula Drift, because at that time the shop came as a vehicle to get us to FD. And then at that point, you developed the parts, and then we had our website. It really it stemmed from wanting to get to FD.
There was no parts at the beginning. It was just like you say yes to every job to, create the money, to then do your best work, and then you build your reputation later. We made some parts, but like we were already in FD at that time. But like the whole idea of the shop was to be able to buy the tools to then make money with them, but also build your own race car and then go to FD. And owning a shop's very hard work, but it did give us what we needed to build this car and other cars and to go to FD and like the home base to do it. Over the years, we had the goal of like, we want to buy our own building because we made it into FD and we were just struggling through how expensive FD is. Fast forward, we did make it to FD. We did get in a lot of debt at the beginning trying to run a new business, pay for, traveling around the country with a bunch of people that you need to be able to like make a crew and team happen in FD. Quite expensive, and it just only gets more expensive the further you go and the more professional you look and the more presentable the team is and the more, I guess, on point the team is. So
I think there might be like other people that have a different opinion on this, but I do think that realistically you have to have the complete package to be competitive and successful in Formula Drift. And we were always there not wanting to be lukewarm about anything, but you need obviously the right crew, the right car, the driver skill set, the funding, the transport, all of it has to align.
Yeah, we did a lot of it ourselves. As many hats as we could wear between the two of us, we would do it, so we don't have to pay someone else to do it that has that skill set or whatever, or try and train someone and then pay them. It wears you down, but we never missed a round in all the 8 years. We showed up every time.
It was never an option.
And the car worked, and it was like, it's quite challenging, which is probably what brought us back, because it's like, it's not easy in any form. It's really fun, it's addicting, and we don't feel like we're done, but over the years,
we didn't want to make this video.
We didn't want to make this video. Over the
Never
years,
thought we would be making this video.
We finally were able to obtain monetary sponsorship and with many companies, and our main one, as you guys know, was with Gear Wrench, and unfortunately they had some changes take place big time at the end of the season last year, and we're not able to continue working with them anymore. Hopefully there's a chance to in the future, because it was like effortless to promote that company, and I love their tools and to work with them on a daily basis. Still working with those tools on a daily basis, but that was our main sponsor, and when they pull out of our program, it's a big hit, and it happened so late. There was no notice. That's sad for our team and our program, but we had a couple ideas and a couple companies that wanted to do stuff with us, but we just needed the budget, and they were trying to get us the budget, and it didn't work out. We thought it was working working out, and literally till the beginning of this week, and we're just like, oh my gosh. And he's like, I'm sorry, maybe 2024. That's like our plan. And then we have this other company.
You're talking about a different.
Yeah, not Gear Wrench. The other sponsors that we do have, it's too big of an offset. So out of pocket, we're gonna end up paying like a huge chunk of money. And years back, we had told ourselves, because we had so much debt, it's too hard to pay it on our own in the lifestyle that we have and the business we have. It just takes too much money. So we had said, I think this was 2019, we had said no more. If we have to pay out of pocket like a little bit, we'd probably be okay. But a big chunk, no, the answer is no. And that leaves us at that exact like crossroad. Do we like pay more than 50%, or do we just sit this year out? And it's too stressful, and we've just moved ourselves to Florida. We have a mortgage on a building and a house. It would wear us very thin. Me and her might argue more, things like that, and I'm not ready to do that. And I don't think she is either, so it's very sad, and we have to sit this year out with plans to come back the following year, and we're going to work as hard as we can this year to build those relations with these other companies so that we're set to come back with the correct funding.
It's tough, you guys. Like, I just want to always, I don't know, have you guys gain something from what we share with you and our experiences. And we never quite felt like, once our program was afloat and it wasn't breaking us down completely, we never felt like, okay, this is it, we're set. Like, we knew that it was always a possibility. If you put all your eggs in one basket, you never want to be in that position. So we were fully aware of that. Kind of the constant go throughout the season didn't quite allow us to pursue other sponsorships the way that we would like to. We always did, but it literally is a full-time job. And if you have the proper funding, if you're able to get into it, we've seen more success when someone has an agent. We just weren't really in a position to.
There isn't a lot of agents in drifting, so there's only
I've
so many of those.
Yeah, I've
Most of
researched
them
that.
are like attached at the hip to their main driver, and they're not doing a ton of drivers. The ones that we know that are with other drivers, we even asked them, and they're like, sorry.
So we've made these other, we've made these observations even before we were in this position now. I'm trying to get to the point that we never stopped pursuing companies. So this whole time, you kind of have to figure out what makes your program marketable, and we do feel confident that we've done everything we can. We didn't really fall short of anything within that, but it sometimes feels like the stars have to align for things to really work out well and be successful. And that's kind of what happened with Gear Wrench when we did begin that partnership with them. Their company was in a position where they really wanted to market the brand, and it kind of takes opportunities like that for it to come together. There's a lot that goes into all of it behind the scenes, and we are not the only team. Every single team goes through it.
I don't know, even if we had known, let's say, a year before that like the partnership would not get to continue this year, we would have desperately been trying to find a replacement. But it's like, there's so many, sponsorship is like a whole nother competition on its own, off the track, between all the drivers. There's only so much money that is being invested into Formula Drift, other company-wise, and there's only so many drivers that are going to get the chance to get it. And if you bring a new company in, there's other drivers, or all the drivers might be, some are going to maybe be respectful enough to be like, that's his thing, but like they're all going to be like, what about me, and try and go after this new so-called sponsor. There isn't really enough money to like just make every team be like, we're good to go. If that was the case, it might be NASCAR or F1, but it's not. It's drifting, and it's still a new sport, and there's a struggle for the funding and sponsorship. Everyone knows that. It's a topic that like is constantly brought up. And
I think like marketing in itself, I feel like it's so intriguing because there are certain goals set each year, and it can completely shift a different direction the following year. So, being in this industry, in motorsports, I think regardless of whatever motorsport you're in, that's just the nature of it.
I don't want to stop. We don't want to stop.
We kind of like,
this has been
to be transparent though, I felt like we kind of like had our own time separately to sort of digest what was taking place, and then like we would come together and regroup, and we'd still be on the same page about things. We kind of like thought of the idea of what life would be like without FD, and a part of you is like, oh, how great, you'd have more time, it would be less stress, and like we couldn't convince ourselves that that was it. It wasn't enough. We couldn't justify it.
Around, you're like, oh, I'm not there, and like
we know we still want it.
It still hasn't set in because it's not yet in the car. I even got it ready already. There's like little things I still need to do to the car, but now I'm like, oh.
I don't know where to put all my creative energy, but we'll figure that out. It changes a lot of things, but I think we know what goals we've set before ourselves now, and to be honest, that was a little unclear once we first realized that this was actually happening. And it would be a lot simpler to sit back and just be comfortable, but you guys have seen what RAD Industries is about, and it's not how we are, at least not yet. And
yeah, we're gonna continue like doing the work that we can, you know, selling parts online and building engines for people and whatnot. Maybe do like a slow customer build, but it's like, gosh, we just want to be at the racetrack and racing, and yeah.
We had a good year in 22 where it was kind of like a teaser of what we can really make happen. And we're really onto something. The car was set up the best it's ever been. It was more responsive to Dan. He was able to get more out of it that he needed, and the team was coming together. So I'm really glad we at least got to experience that because the years leading up to that felt a little more just challenge after challenge with things that you see other teams might already have in place.
It just takes a whole lot of money and the right people. To get the right people, you need someone with long-term experience that's probably gone through so many issues so they know what's going to work and what's not. And those are usually adults, and they're more expensive, like older adults. We had this vision of what we were going to do and accomplish, and we never got there. So I don't feel like I'm done yet. She doesn't feel like she's done yet, and we are still hungry for more and have more energy for more.
We knew that there was more that we could do.
The money part's scary because like we could go in debt real quick. At one point we were like $70,000 in debt on credit cards. Still never missed a round, but it was just like barely have the money to pay things and your credit cards are maxed out. And finally we chipped away at that for years and we're like clear of that, but we don't want to go back there.
And we finally it's probably just what it means to be getting old. You know, we've worked hard to get to where we're at now, and we reached a point where we want to enjoy some of what we've worked hard for. And we've kind of started to build the life that we want here in Florida. As much as we want to race, it didn't really settle right to just dump all of that back into racing.
You guys are all going to say, why don't you sell one of your cars? Why don't you sell something?
I told him that too.
I'm not.
Because I wanted to go so bad. No, once we talked about it.
My opinion is if you made it that far and you were able to be like, it's not like we got paid like a salary. We got enough money between all our partners, enough money to run a program.
Cover our costs.
And like when there's a failure, usually it's enough to like fix a failure and you're like, whew. So you're, in a way, you're working like 100-hour weeks or whatever it is. Some of it's extremely fun, you're in a race car, some of it's fixing or whatever broke on your trailer, your truck, your race car, whatever, and then you're working your normal job. If it was like so great that we didn't have to have a normal job, that would be cool, but I think there might only be like 3 drivers in FD that have it like that, and they were probably in the right place at the right time, or they have an agent and they were in the right place at the right time, and they're probably exceptionally good behind the wheel or whatever their case, that happened, but we didn't have it that way. I don't want to sell like my second race car or whatever to fund it, because then I'm going to get the same result and then I'm probably going to spend more than that, and then I'm left out without that car when it's all said and done. I'm like, no. So we're just trying to make smart decisions. And
yeah, like in the beginning we were willing to do anything it took, and I
sold everything.
I wouldn't change that necessarily. Yeah. Like going into it, I think it does require that. As we matured as a team in our race program and learned more about how we can work with our partners, I feel like we kind of developed...
Like we grew up in that sense, and we understand what we can offer them, what we're worth, and they were happy with us.
We know what it requires and the value that goes with that. So kind of what we did, like you should, especially in the level of professional drifting, what it requires to put on that show, all the logistics to it, all of that. I look at that with a lot of respect, and in my opinion, those costs should be covered if you are running a proper partnership versus like, I'm gonna dump everything I have into this and be left with nothing. And I think that's something
We did that before.
we did, and that's kind of where we're coming from right now. You know, I think there's a reason why not everyone is in racing. You know, a lot of people could afford it, but is that what you really want to dump everything into? And we enjoy what we have here now, and
We had roommates until
our first 10 years of marriage, we
had
roommates.
roommates, so we could do this.
It wasn't
Like,
terrible,
we
it's part of our
sacrificed
story,
it
but-
all, and like, I don't think I'm ready to sacrifice it all, because I know, I've been there, I know what you get out of it, so I will sacrifice a lot, but I have to draw the line, and so does she.
We have to figure out a different way.
And
this is
then-
a professional motorsport. We need to
Yes.
kind of set a standard for it, and it's possible because other guys are doing it. So that's what we're after. By no means are we like lowering our standards
No.
and just settling in.
But-
like, we're still hungry for it, you guys, and
They're probably gonna ask, what are you gonna do this year, where are you
Yes.
gonna go, and what drifting do you have planned? We're putting together a tour of what we're gonna do, and we're gonna continue working with all our other partners. We'll show you guys shortly, but we will be in a couple areas of the country this year, and you will get to see this machine in action.
still
and
lots of drifting on the
possibly
channel.
the other one. Last minute piecing that together because we thought we had it figured out with the replacement. We were gonna change the color of the car to this other company's branding and everything, and they it was so close, guys. They changed
Wasn't
it
meant
literally
to be for
this
some
week.
reason.
Stressful last couple
And,
of
like,
weeks.
I'll say that, I'll be transparent with you guys. Like, I know that God has a plan for all of this. I think that He brought us to where we are now. I strongly believe that. So there's a sense of peace in kind of what's taking place right now because it doesn't make sense to us. And, deep down inside, it's not what we wanted, but this is where we're at. And, I don't know, it's part of this,
Journey.
part of the story, I guess. So.
Yep.
I don't know where these other events are going to take us, how many we're doing yet, how much time that's going to require. I can't imagine it would be as demanding as FD, but I would love the idea of getting more seat time in the SC and then maybe be comfortable in baby blue and then I can tandem with you.
That would be cool.
I feel like we're kind of one of the underdog teams that you guys have seen like succeed and move up in RAD Industries. And
In RAD Industries?
Sorry, in Formula Drift. You guys have got to see us, kind of start out in FD, and we're sort of the underdog along with many other teams that were there.
Privateer
And-
maybe is
yes.
another way of saying it. And
Yes.
then we finally obtained a really amazing sponsor.
And I felt like you
And
guys
grew
were
with them and
you
made
guys
them
were
happy.
excited with
And
us.
you watched
like,
us like, you're like, you
Yes.
did it. They're making it happen. We felt the same way as you guys. It was really cool.
yes. Now we're here.
Not fun.
Yeah, I just want to still keep it positive and still encourage you guys to go after what it is that your heart really desires, what you're thinking about every day. Still go after that. We, being in this current situation, it would be so easy to just be like, we're defeated, we give up, this isn't, And maybe that's the case for different people, and we put ourselves in that mindset for a second to think okay, are we supposed to step away? Is this not meant to be, sort of thing? And we both
That's,
still found
all we
ourselves.
wanna do.
It is.
The drifting community and drifting is where I belong.
You don't have to be in FD to have that, though. You don't have to be on a
No, but I like
professional level.
FD, guys.
Yes, you're competitive.
It's fun. It's hard, but it's fun.
Yes.
So if your goal was to do that too,
Still go after
yeah.
it.
Don't buy a
we-
house. Don't do smart decisions. Don't do anything smart that you should do in your late 20s.
No, just
Spend
take-
every penny on your race car, and then maybe just don't get a credit card though. That would be the one thing. Don't get credit cards.
We've made the mistakes for you, so maybe there's different ways that people are going to come up with things and how to do this. Make your connections, get to know the right people. You're going to need that. That's usually what takes place whenever we have something that happens. Yeah, don't be discouraged from what's taking place here. Still more to be had.
Yeah, we're still gonna do cool stuff, and hopefully come right back next year. Usually, if you want something bad enough and you think about it enough, it happens. You just gotta be persistent, get up, and make it happen. get up every day and put in the effort, and stuff happens.
Yep.
That's how we did everything we were doing.
Just
All right,
want to
guys.
keep you guys posted with where we're still headed with things.
That's a big decision, but we wanted to let you guys know. Keep watching. Stay along for the ride. There's a lot more to come.